Hey guys, this is Gary coming back to you here with another YouTube video, and the location is Texas, and this is the Ramsey shop. Some of you kind of followed along probably from a distance and seen the new space. I think I've got some videos on it a while back, but this is my son Matt working with me now, and while I'm on the road traveling and so forth, he's back in Texas. Doing projects around the shop, internal just organization projects, and this is one he's working on right here. This is a new brake. I wanted to just get this brake set up and spend some time with it. This is the smallest, lowest cost brake that I sell. It's $19,000 on my website, and just frankly, I've not really spent that much time with one of these, and so I wanted to have one running in the shop to kind of see what it can and can't do, maybe what the limitations are. It does have the same controller of the ones I have been selling for 2 or 3 years, but it's just a smaller, lower tonnage machine, 4 foot, 45 ton machine. So we have this project to get a fence put up around the property because we've been having an ongoing issue with transient traffic just coming through, because I am right on a main highway, just a constant nonstop people turning around, which is not a major problem, but it kind of gets annoying after a while. So I wanted to put a fence up so we could, rope it off and keep people from just constantly using it as a public turnaround space. So this is a 5x10, 1500 watt single phase laser. The brake that you just saw is also single phase. And so we're going to get started here making some post caps and some base plates and some concrete anchors, and we'll show you kind of what we came up with and why we did what we did, and maybe you guys will chime in and let me know what your thoughts are on that. So as I mentioned, that's my son Matt here running the laser, and he's been working for me, kind of part-time, 2-3 days a week for almost probably close to a year now. And he's helped me do a pre-install on several lasers, getting the laser source mounted and getting it all prepped and ready to go so the installation goes smoother on site. But he doesn't have a lot of experience running one and all the nuances associated with that. So while we were building this fence, we're just kind of letting him run the laser and training him on it, and so trying to get him a little more up to speed and expand his skill set and contribution to what we're doing here. So this is some 3/8 plate that he loaded up there. I'm sorry, this is 1/4 inch that we're cutting right now, and this is kind of some slip fit brackets that we're going to use for anchors, and here in a minute we'll show you what those look like and how they got mounted. So I set this laser up to be able to make a video to show this single phase package with the lowest cost laser and the lowest cost brake that I sell. And this one actually is already sold. I have a guy named Zachary who also has already bought a brake from me about a year ago. He's coming to pick it up. We're going to do training on it, and then we'll load him up and let him take it back to South Dakota. And I'm starting to move in that direction where we're going to do more have people come to me, do the training, and then we'll either hot shot it out to them, or we will let them load it up and take it with them, and then just kind of support them after the fact. And still working on the Airbnb, and I'll give you an update on that maybe in another video, but we're making progress on that. So we're going to get to the point where customers can come and stay in the shop in the separate area and get their training. It'll be a pretty cool experience. But you see we got this one running, cutting these parts out, and we'll skip on ahead and show you the next step. So those little brackets that you saw Matt bending there, the little L brackets are those, and you can see how they tab and slot. And then the other brackets are here, tab and slotted into the bottom. So this goes down into the concrete, and we got channels for rebar to pass through and lock this down. And let me walk out and show you why we did this. There's a little small preview of the fence. You can see the plate I just showed you is right here. It's buried down in the concrete, and then we got our big 8-inch post here with its own flange and then bolted in place. And the reason I did that was to give it some breakaway. You know, these big trucks coming in and out of here, you know, dragging across the corner. If I hard set that in the concrete, they would just tear that up, and then I wouldn't be able to fix it. With this, it's kind of a breakaway. If they hit it, they're gonna break it away, and it's gonna break those tabs, and then I can weld it or bend it back in place, you know, whatever I need to do there. All right, so where you saw Matt just welding in there was actually in here. And you guys may remember this. This was my original fab shop. And, you know, had the milling machines, 2 of them there, and a lathe right there. And, you know, fab table right here. So we pulled all that stuff out, and it's sitting over here in this corner. We got the bandsaw set up where we can use it and, you know, make parts with. You can see the lathe back there. So we pulled all that out to, you guys probably remember the nasty spray foam that was in here. It looked so bad in all my videos. And with the rest of the shop looking so nice like this, it was kind of hard to leave that spray foam. And we had some panels left over, and the guys were gonna be here. So we just had all this lined in here as well. So we're gonna paint the beams to match the gray out here. And I'm gonna go ahead here and pretty soon and get this AC unit moved over to the wall so we can get all these lines out and get this gravity drain, condensation drain. And so it'll be up against the wall so it can just go out and straight down. And that'll really clean it up, give us more headroom in the middle, and then we'll get the machines back in here where we can use it. Probably do a little floor work in here too, and just, you know, this had 7 years of fab work on it, so we'll just prep it and reseal it. And anybody ever fallen victim to a marketing gimmick? Well, you're not the only one. Yeah, I bought those. I'm gonna have 6 of them in here on the ceiling. So, well, we'll see. I'll show you maybe in a few months when we get it all up and running, get this all cleaned up in here. It's pretty cool. I did put a roll-up door on it because we do have AC in here, as I just showed you, and I don't have AC in the shop. So one of the goals is to be able to bring a machine in here and do prep work on it and use the AC. So I did get a 20-foot wide roll-up door added. And this one it's neat because it's got straight tracks. It goes straight up. When it's up, it is blocking a window, which is not too big of a deal. But in the summer, you know, this door's insulated, so we'll have it down and have some nice AC to work in, do small projects in. Of course, it's unavoidable to have to get out here and do some. It's just brutally hot. And I showed it in a couple of the videos of the laser running from back in August. We did buy this thing in the middle of the summer, and it gave us a great deal of relief. I gotta say, you know, there's not too many products that you buy that, you know, you really love, and this thing worked really, really well. And you'll see these like on NFL sidelines and things. Not cheap, you know, not cheap, but really provided some great relief in the sweltering hot days. I don't think I've shown this either. You get 22,000 square feet of floor. To keep it somewhat clean, have a chance at keeping it clean, you need something. And so I have added that, and it does a great job. All right, so now we're cutting some 3/8 plate, and these are going to be the post caps that are going to go on top. And you can see the double etch there. And what we were doing with that was one, engraving an alignment mark for the tube to sit in and make it easier to line to weld. And then the outer etch, anytime you have a crusty, rusty plate and a low-powered laser like this one, you need all the help you can get. So that that etch around the cut line first that you're seeing happen right there actually makes the cut easier because it etches away the mill scale and the rust that may be there, and you'll get a nicer cut. So 836 hot roll, plate, 3/8 plate. The edge quality is always going to be kind of questionable. Sometimes it'll be pretty smooth, sometimes it'll be a little bit more serrated, but you can see it's a pretty nice edge right there for that kind of plate. All right, so this is the next thing we're going to make on these posts, and it's these U-channel brackets, and these are cedar. These are 2x6 by 8 cedar boards, and again, tried to make this modular so that so if this post gets taken out, we don't lose a hard mounted fence runner to it, and if we do, we can just replace it. So my thought was to come and just, screw into that to hold it in place, or maybe make another cap that sits down and then screw through that so it kind of closes it all in, gives it a more finished look. But as you can see, we didn't make it that far. So here we are back in August actually making those U-brackets that you saw. U-brackets are a challenge for most press brakes because you just don't have, the clearance, you know what I mean? You just don't have the clearance to make a tight bend like that unless you get creative. And so you're about to see right here what happens with the clearance when you just try to go straight in and bend it. You can see it hits the front of the tool holder, and that ain't going to work for nobody. Just obviously makes a big mess out of it. So, well, what do you do with that? You're going to toss that one, of course, and then we're going to take a look at, maybe you could just do this, right? Make it in 2 pieces, and then but that's, who wants to double the amount of work with the number of pieces? So what you do is you make a sacrificial 135-degree bend in the middle. And then you bend up both of your legs at 90, as you'll see here. And on this one, we didn't even really program this in. We just manually did this, right? So if you program in your quote back bend, as this is called, you could make this really precise where you can't even really see where the original bend was. So now we have our bend, and we got sort of a W shape there, and we're just going to back bend the sacrificial bend in the middle and get it back to where we have the U shape and we have the clearance that we need. So you'll see there's a little bit of a noticeable jog in it, but again, if we had programmed that in, we could get that to fit it perfect. But it worked out. I'm showing you kind of how it can be done. I'm not maybe teaching you the best way. And this is the parts here being cut on the laser, and those were out of, I believe we cut those out of 3/16. So here we are into full production. As you can see, we got a lot to cut. So I think we had 180 feet of fence across the front, and posts every 8 feet. I don't remember how many it was, but it was about 30 or so. And then each post got 6 of these brackets on them, and so we ended up cutting quite a few. And you can see the cut quality. I was having a couple of little issues there with this plate, and this was literally one of the first things that we cut, and kind of just dialing it in as we went. And so here's the concrete work going in, pouring the little border around the whole driveway area that the post bases went in, and you can see the big stack of bases made up there that the guys can set them in, and then we can finish making our posts. So this is what it looked like back in like June or July. This is Matt pulling in here, and you can see everything's just wide open. You can come right off the main highway right into our property and U-turn and do turnarounds and all kinds of stuff. And you can see it was pretty rough looking too. We just had the very basic driveway base in, and that stuff really sticks to your tires, and you drag it all into the shop and make a big mess. So we had a pretty dramatic transformation on this and solved a lot of problems. So let's take a look at how it wrapped up and what it looks like right now. So I think we accomplished everything that I set out to do. You can see the plastic yellow chain here. You know, that we got just keeping people coming off the street in here and turning around. And when we know we're gonna have trucks coming in, we just drop the chain down. The trucks can, you know, make a big U-turn in, come here, back into the shop, and then when they leave, they can just head back down to the interstate. That's I-45 down there that runs between Dallas and Houston. And then we're just, you know, on a highway off of it here. So this is, you know, even though it's not a barricade, anybody can just drive right through it. It has served as a deterrent. You know, people see that up, they just don't come in. And they know that we're just not a public, you know, shopping center that you can just turn around in and do U-turns in and whatever. So you can see the fence there. And then we stubbed out a little bit down through there and we stopped it right here. And eventually we'll get all this, you know, all this crap cleared out. And this is my property line. You can see how close the building is to it. And so pretty happy with it. It's worked out well. And the next thing we're gonna show you is some drainage issues, a little footage here. And then on part 2 of the update, we'll show you how we solved the drainage issues.